What's up, guys? This is Jade from Monster Bix Music. So today we're going to do something super cash. I'm here with my buddies, Daniel Escobar. You guys have seen him before. One of my mixing partners, Stefan Hawks, Cheese Ballin, and Mason. And we've got a bunch of 1176s that we're just going to shoot out for you guys so that you guys can hear them, get a little bit of context. We have all of the Audioscapes, A, D, and F, as well as the Audioscape 1178. We have an original UREI.
And that's it.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for, like, the sake of, like, audio quality, we're just going to screen grab the Pro Tools session and go through them and then let you guys listen to that. And then after that, if you guys want to hear us talk, we'll chat about it after we've given it a listen too.
I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try. I don't wanna sacrifice for your love. I try.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, I guess let's start with the drums. So, what did you think between obviously the original Uri Rev F, which is the thing that some of these are based on, and it's obviously like the classic vintage one. Obviously, I thought that sounded really, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're super close if you're talking about 1176F from the Uri one versus the Audioscape. I mean, we get the brightness that happens with, like, new parts.
Yeah, if you let the thing sit for 20, 30 years, maybe it'll end up being a little warmer.
By the time that we're, like, retired, it's probably going to sound original.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like the Rev F Audioscape was maybe a little brighter, but that made it a little more present. So And it had maybe a little less low end, but again, it wasn't like it still sounded like an 1176. It sounded really good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
D I thought was like really kind of creamy and
I thought
smooth.
the D was pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It sounded
Audioscape one, yeah.
it sounded a lot like the UREI 2, but it's a Rev D. It's not supposed to sound like a Rev F.
Well, it's darker.
Yeah, it's just a little creamier.
I'm not a fan of the D normally
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like that sound. That's not what
You want it to like pop.
If I'm gonna use an 1176, if I'm gonna make that choice for a compressor for whatever I'm using
Yeah.
it for, I'm using it because I want that color and I want it to pop with that color.
Yeah.
And for me, at least in the type of music that I'm mixing, right,
Too
the
smooth.
D is too smooth, too dark.
Yeah.
But for you guys, because you're doing like rock and metal more,
Yeah, I think it sounds really good. It's really creamy, and I mean, you've used it a ton on stuff, and it works. So
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I think any of these,
yeah.
like,
They all work.
they all work. Like,
Yeah.
there's, I mean,
They
I
all sound like an 1176.
that's the thing. Is like I've literally used clones or cheaper like clones, and it's like they sound broken. Like we've all heard like
Yeah.
really bad compressors. Like they make people's voices sound broken. So like none of these are like, hey man, you shouldn't use that. Like these are all quality.
Well, that's the thing
units.
about like Audioscape is like I was telling you guys earlier. Like they use Chris is really, really, really. I mean, to be honest, like anal about the components that he uses, and he uses like he uses like no old stock. I don't know what he's gonna do once he runs out of components because he like collects them, but
They'll never run
you know
out.
it gets like categorized as like this budget thing, and it's not a budget thing. He just is very like wants to
Everyone to have the sound.
he wants to advocate
Yeah.
for accessibility,
Yeah.
and so it gets put in that category because of the cost, but it has, in terms of like the actual internal components, better components and things that are 3 times as expensive,
Yeah.
right? And he just basically
Yeah, a lot of those units I'm
Doesn't
talking
make
about
money
that
on
I've heard
it.
that sound
Yeah.
broken don't cost any
I mean, he
different
doesn't
than
make
these ones. So
the
these
other
are clearly
ones they're making their stuff in China, like
yeah.
like Warm and like Black Lion now, and they cost more,
Yeah.
really.
And
then
they sound cheap
because
and-
they're just making their margin,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, I mean, we're comparing these to a vintage unit that, like, Universal Audio themselves have. You know what I mean? It's like
I know they've
it's
tried
like
to make
they've
it.
tried
They
to
made
make
the
it.
UA
So it's like,
Classic.
yeah, it's clearly not easy to like recreate the sound of these like flagship vintage units. So even if these all have a slightly different
Honestly,
character,
I know we don't have one here, but I kind of prefer this Audioscape stuff over the UA Classic.
well, the UA Classics are almost their own thing now to me. That's the thing.
They
I
are.
agree with you because I know people
Well,
that have the UA Classics and they don't even want a Rev F because it's based on a Rev D, I think, also. So
Oh, I think the UA Classic sounds terrible.
Yeah,
I mean-
I hate that.
again,
compressor.
I haven't used
Yeah.
it that much, but I know people that
It
like it,
sounds-
but they don't like it because it sounds like a vintage one. It's become its own. They've been around
It's
for
its own thing.
They've become
It's its
25
own-
years,
It's
and
its own thing.
it's like super kind of fast, and it's almost more solid state, and they like that it's even less cool.
I don't hate it. I just don't prefer it.
Yeah, I'll take these over that for me too,
Yeah,
because I feel like they do.
100%.
They
I
go
just
for
don't
the
think.
vibe.
I think it's really mid, and I just like
Don't
don't
see
know
what's
why.
really
I don't know why I would choose that
The,
over like a
the
different
LA2A, the Universal Audio LA2A is the definition of mid. I mean, it's the definition of mid. I was so shocked when I tested the thing. I couldn't believe, and I had a pair of them, so it wasn't like I had a bad one. I had a matched pair of them, and I was just like, I guess it's compressing, but there's no like charm here.
Yeah.
I wish we had an Audioscape LA2A. I hear nothing but good things, but I've never gotten to use one.
I mean, I have one. I'll bring it in.
I hear they're great, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's got to be better than
They're
whatever.
great.
It's
I
got to be
mean,
better than whatever's going on. With
They're
it.
like we did like a comparison at Create Music because they have like the UA one. That one is just none of the old ones sound the same because what's
Bill Putnam.
Bill Putnam, yeah, he would source the cells from just like random places because he
Yeah.
couldn't, he wasn't consistent. But it's cool if you're doing, like, I mean, I like the sound because I like classical music, and it's cool if you're doing like classical or jazz because it's just very like, mellow and flat.
Mhm.
But no, the Audioscape one, it's a lot more modern sounding. It's a lot more relevant, and it's just got kind of like that groove happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we didn't talk about the Rev A on snare, which I think we were all a little
Yeah.
surprised by. Well,
Which
Danny's Rev A sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, we all kind of enjoyed
You
it.
feel a lot better about owning that thing today than you did yesterday, huh, Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was more aggressive than I thought. It's got obviously the brightness that one would associate with a Rev A, but it was a little like cooler and grittier. Like we all thought it was going to be like more sterile or something.
No, it was
Just
rocking.
clean. We think it's clean. It's cleaner than it sounded. And like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, Danny's might just be a
whether
demon.
you broke it or
Yeah.
like whether things, but it did have a little bit more grit today than I think, and it might just be the source material, how it's because we're patching it in. But
sounds really good.
But it sounds really great. But it does have that. I mean, that is
The
how
brightness,
it sounds.
yeah.
He has it.
It just makes the vocal
At a certain depth.
present.
Yeah.
Like it makes the vocal like. Whoosh, right
Yeah, there's
there,
no confusion
present.
as to
Yeah.
what part you're supposed to be listening to. It's
Yeah.
the vocal. Like
Yeah.
it says like pay attention to me. Like puts it right out front and
It's
just
like the perfect between the F and the A to me in terms of the type of music that you and I mix.
Yeah.
Because we're mostly doing R&B and pop when it comes to singing,
Yeah.
right? And then we do like hip hop. Right. Those are the perfect ones because we're pushing that outside of a mix.
Yep.
And we want that very present, detailed vocal.
And honestly, like I feel like these days, like even though I do more rock stuff, I mean I do plenty of like pop and stuff like that, but it's kind of most people, if it's just modern at all, if you're not doing throwback vintage stuff or punk rock stuff, even all the modern rock guys want whatever that A is doing, and they want that F. They want the fast, like people do want that like immediacy in vocals.
Right.
It's like I mix vocals so much differently than I did 10 or 15 years ago, because it used to be more like it's like old school 90s vibes, and it's like once all those bright hip hop and pop vocals started becoming cool, all the rock guys listen to that stuff and like it, and then they go, literally you'll be like, hey man, can you make me sound like, I don't want to say it, but like, can you just make me sound super like a pop guy, even though they're doing rock music?
that was like that rock mix that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I mixed the vocals in the style that I mix vocals. I wasn't even really considering it, and then he like loved it.
Yeah.
It was definitely like that. I mixed with a very as a hug.
So I'm saying I
right
go
out
for
up
that
front,
more
yeah.
now, because I kind of know that's where people's heads are at, and people will just kind of preemptively say like, hey, can we just make sure in the end when it's done being mixed or whatever that it's got that like kind of that pop sheen to it. So yeah, I feel like that's definitely kind of more popular or more needed in terms of like what people are doing.
But if you have like a screaming, because you're like looking at metal, right? And you're the one with the Rev D, because I don't really like the Rev D, but I would imagine if I'm mixing like metally, screamy type vocals or like harsher vocals, I wouldn't want the A or
Yeah,
F.
you don't-
I would want the D,
Yeah, you want
so that I can get like
rounded off.
that rounded off,
Yeah, so it's the
sound.
opposite thing, because you're not.
And let it sit back in the mix, right? Is
Yep.
that how
Yeah.
you're mixing?
Yep, and I mean you're going at -15 anyways when they're holding a scream, so just like
Yeah, then you can brighten it in the end to your
My
taste.
favorite kind of vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screaming at
You
me.
can brighten it in the end to your taste, but it's still you gotta round it off to then make it as bright as you need. Whereas I think with the pop stuff, it's just clearly like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Where screamers are trying to blend in the mix. It's not they're not always trying to be out front like
I'll
that.
be honest. I feel like, I mean, out of all the 1176s, like, I would pick any of them, any record, and I feel like I could make a good vocal, good.
Yeah,
song.
they were all
Any of
quality.
them.
They're all quality
Yeah,
units.
I was
you
very
know.
surprised with the way the 1178 sounded.
Yeah,
the 1178 is not supposed to be an 1176.
yeah, it
That's
definitely
what I was
doesn't
saying.
sound like it.
It's not.
But it
supposed
sounds
to be.
awesome.
But it sounds really creamy and cool, and like that's what I would want to, like you were saying, like blow up
Yeah.
like a room mic or a vocal, like a background vocal bus.
I
Something.
mean, that's what I use it for. I use it for background.
Yeah, and that's what
I use it
everything.
for guitar.
But I
And
wouldn't
guitar?
hate it on a lead vocal. You know?
No, yeah, it's
It
good
was
on a lead vocal. It didn't.
Oh, yeah.
It just didn't focus as much on. It's a stereo unit, so like
Yeah.
that's how you know it's probably not necessarily geared towards.
You can do
vocals.
dual mono.
What
You can do dual mono
is
with
the
it,
dual
yeah.
mono. You can even
That's what
use
we
it if
did.
you have like a lead. You can use the first channel to catch the
And then run
transient,
into the
Yeah.
second
and then
one,
get the vibe with the second channel.
which we didn't do, but probably would have been cool to get two different compression.
Yeah.
envelopes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
New video.
it
Start
sounds
over.
it sounds great. I mean, the fidelity on. I was actually expecting it to be like thinner than it was. Like I'll welcome like a new piece of gear that sounds like thick, like vintage, like great. Like I don't, like there's options. So yeah, I feel like, especially since it's stereo, I feel like it's really good for just making things
And
fat.
that one is supposed to be different because it's based on the H, which is transformerless.
Yeah.
So
So it's like op amps and
right.
But no piece of gear that I have is like super clean. Like that's what you said. My gear is by me.
Yeah.
So like no gear that I have is not. I'm not gonna ever bring a piece of gear that doesn't have a very
Yeah,
specific
having
sound.
hardware that doesn't sound hardware-y is just counterintuitive. If
I
you
mean,
want
sometimes
clean,
it's cool
but
because
there's
you
a
don't
few
get the
pieces.
depth. Yeah,
There's
I
a
mean, Danny's. I'm starting to mix more clean. He's starting to mix more colored because we're meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call me
But-
Dirty Dan Mixes.
Well, and there's
dirty.
dirty. Well, there's kind of like
I'm changing your
there's
contact.
clean hardware gear that is like so clean it's stunning. That's cool.
Yeah.
But just
Yes.
like something that sounds effectively like a
But it's almost
plug-in. That's
shiny.
like,
Like
yeah,
DW
yeah.
Like a
Fern,
shiny,
like
clean-
DW
Like
Fern.
DW Fern is
Yeah.
like clean, but like wow. You know.
Yeah, or like Vertigo.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's when clean is cool, but if you're going for usually with hardware, it's like I want it to do something that where it's
Then
very
I can't get it in the box.
you can't get it in
Yeah,
the box.
because otherwise I'm not gonna get out of my chair to like go fiddle some
Just go
freaking
patch it
knots.
in,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm
waste
just
your
like,
time.
yeah,
Something just
I'm
needs a little
super
bit
lazy.
of EQ. You just pull a
Yeah.
plug in EQ. Like I'm not gonna like have an existential crisis trying to
Yeah.
give a guy a little boost in the mids. You're like,
Yeah.
that's not a thing. But now if we're going for an entire vocal treatment where it's like this person needs to sound a certain way, you can do that with software. We've all done it with plugins and stuff. But if you just start with something that's doing what these are all doing, it makes it so much easier. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like the cherry on top as opposed to like build it from the ground up. Like this, it'd take 4 plugins to even get you in the ballpark of what
Well,
these
that's the
are
whole
doing.
point of
and,
like
yeah,
hardware. Yeah, people
saves
and,
you a
like,
lot of time.
just so you guys know, we're not trying to get into like a whole hardware versus like software debate.
Yeah, we all use
like,
software.
Yeah,
Tons,
we all
more
use
than
software
we use hardware.
tons. The thing is like when you're like a full-time
I like
engineer. Yeah, I mean
I
we
love
love
it.
I love
And hardware.
software. But when you're a full-time engineer and you're like just constantly going, you're trying to be efficient, right? And so something that's gonna like let me get there in one step versus taking 5 steps so that I'm not pushing something super hard and it sounds digital. That's the answer to me. It's not that you can't replicate it because while you can tell the difference one-on-one, once it's in the mix, you can't tell, right? But it has to do with like the steps that it takes to get there, like the efficiency.
Yeah, how long would it take you to dial in 5
Yeah.
plugins to sound like this? And how would
Right.
you even know if it sounded exactly
Yeah,
like this?
hardware just gets there faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets it
Yeah.
first. Well, and then there's some things like saturation or like air, like we were talking about in plugins, kind of sounds like a little weird when you push it. But generally speaking, yeah, I mean you can get
Yeah.
there and plug. It's just I'm lazy. I don't want to have 5 inserts. I want to have
Also-
one.
Also, with the price on some of this Audioscape stuff, the 5 plugins would cost as much as the hardware,
It costs more.
and it's not real. Like you can't track
It's
with
not
it.
real.
I mean, you know what I mean? You can't track.
Dude.
Not real.
It's like software. I mean, again, like
That's
it's
my thing with software, man. I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna like watch. My computer's gonna force me to update, or I'm gonna have to get a new computer, and then it's just like, boom,
There's no
obsolete.
updates.
Like,
yeah, there's no updates. The stuff,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. So obviously, if you're comparing a plugin versus something that costs like $8,000, fine. But if you're comparing a plugin that costs like what Audioscape stuff sounds like, it's like this stuff's pretty wild for the price. It's
Chris needs to raise prices.
yeah, sure.
He
I
needs
mean,
to raise
well,
the prices. It's crazy.
not until I get some. Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds great. So then,
I'll spend like $800 on plugins and just have like, I'll hit the checkout and then I'm like, fuck, I don't even get anything, bro.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that's how I feel. Like, man,
I
I'm
just
I
paid for
could've-
ones and
and then
zeros.
it's like small amounts, right? So like you'll just constantly buy plugins. God, the amount.
Yeah, they
that-
nickel and dime you for those, whereas this
Yeah.
you just pay like a little more up front, and you have like a real thing. You can just take
Forever.
it. You just take it and everything. You know. But again, that's the thing. You have to pick the character that's for you. So like hardware isn't good. Plugins aren't good. What's good is hardware that makes your life easier, that gets you the sound in your head.
Yeah.
So that's like why we're making these
And there's
videos,
some
is to
plugins
show
that are
people.
like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like Acoustica or like Kush or like that like God Kazrock True Iron or like
Yeah.
you know
Tons of-
Tone projects. Like there's tons of like great UA like
oh yeah, I've got plugin
Tons
settings
of
I've been
great
using for a
plugins.
billion
Metric
years.
Halo.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Metric Halo.
Make believe is like
So
you
yeah,
know.
it's like we all have plugins that we all use and presets and things that we
Mixwave.
use, like chains. Yeah, some
Oh yeah, no
Mixwave
actually
stuff's getting wild. Yeah,
the Mixwave, the Hazel rig, that thing is
this guy's always
that
telling me
thing
about the
claps.
Hazel rig.
like to take Connor's phrase, that thing
MC
claps.
DSP.
Oh, yeah, I've been
Okay,
rocking
relax.
that stuff since
Relax
25
with-
years
This is
ago.
all native.
Oh
Yeah.
god, now we're just going and we're just
Now
throwing
we're just
them all
gonna
out.
throw them all
Thanks
out.
for all that farce.
But yeah, so then we also did on the
Safari
vocal.
Bells.
Did we feel like the vocal and the drums, like, did the character change a lot when we went from the vocal to the drum example, or did we find that the units
No, they-
kind of carried the same sort of thing to
They
each
kind
source?
of carried, in my opinion.
I agree.
It carried the color, but the source material obviously because like that vocal is like completely like
It's
almost lacking in transients.
Yeah, it's like
so
uncompressed.
It's like,
yeah.
So it's like the way that it's gonna respond is gonna be different.
Yeah.
So in that way, but
Yeah, you go from a snare that's pure
Yeah.
transient to a vocal that's just got peaks, but they're not hard peaks.
So I think then you get to see how it reacts to a source like that. Then you get to see how it reacts to a source when you're taming it, right? And you're catching those transients.
But I do kind of think if you like one in one, like if you like the example of the Audioscape Rev A in one, you're also going to like it on the vocal. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's not.
But
You
the
don't.
thing is with a FET, if you're gonna use a FET,
Yeah.
you are going for the color. That's
That's
the
what I'm saying.
reason
So
you're
I think
using
it's like
that.
it's not something where like, oh no, I have to buy this for vocals and I have to buy this for snare and this for kick. I don't actually think it's that complicated. I think you just find the one that does what you like. Now you can have multiple ones and that's cool, but even if you just pick the one you like the most first, you're going to get a lot of use out of it. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like when I heard the characteristics across from the vocal to the snare and back and forth, I was like, yeah, this is like that unit does this, and so if you have a strong preference for one, it seems like the color transcends the source.
Right.
It's a little different, like the grab can be different, and the EQ might be more pleasant depending on what you're looking for. But in general, it was like I liked the same ones in the snare test for the same reasons I liked them in the vocal test, and so I think that's kind of rad that it's not like, oh man, this is only good for that. It's like. Because a lot of people that are buying these things is like they don't have a wall of gear. I mean, I don't have a wall of compressors. I mean, I actually don't have it. No, I don't have a ton.
I don't know that we want to compare.
But I'm saying I
you
really
to,
don't
like,
have that many compressors because I just have a few that I like really well.
If you wanted to do like the CLA thing when you have a wall of 1176s,
then you could.
Audioscape makes it very affordable.
Yeah, you could actually do that.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the thing where you basically have like one or two, like a vocal chain, where you just have one good channel, you've got one channel and one good channel. Yeah, you got more compressors than I. You've got.
I have a wall, but that's because I'm into the vibe, man.
I know.
Like I'm just like, but I like the very Mew. That's my favorite kind. I'm just like I need the hug.
I mean, I have all that stuff in like my mastering chain, but I don't have it in the mix. Like I use it on every project, but I don't have it like
but you do that thing. What's the thing called again? The thing that you're doing where you're.
STL.
Yeah, the STL thing.
Oh, well, yeah. Sometimes I'll like model my own stuff and then I can use it in mixing. But I mean, I'm saying even then, even if I wasn't, I've got Fatso, I've got the API 5500, and I've got the Inward Connections vac rack. Those are the only three pieces of non-preamp outboard gear that are like not in my mastering chain. So that's the thing is like these. If you're a person who just wants to have a good vocal chain and then you want like a good kick snare sound or just a snare compressor or something, one of these can do all of that for you if you pick the one that you like.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you like. I mean, because I started out with just literally one good stereo mic pre, my Empirical Labs Fatso stereo. Like I started out with just two good channels, two good converters, and then everything else was just like a crummy console or just bullshit interface.
Oh, for years I just had I just had
golden
like
chain.
1073 and like you know what I mean. Like you kind of start off that way and then.
But nobody was selling good sounding 1176s for like these prices. Now, granted, if you go back to as far as me, you probably could have got an original for around that. One time, an original UREI Rev F came up on Craigslist for $800, and I tried to go get it, and one guy beat me to it. I was the second guy. If I had gotten in my car and started driving, I might have been able to like beat the guy, but I didn't. But yeah, so that was like. But even then, still, that was not the going price in those days. So these are still half the price of whatever I remember them ever costing.
I just need one of these guys that have like these gear collections. Because I swear, like there's people that just have, I mean, they're not necessarily engineering full time, but it's just something that they love. And they have way better gear than all of us.
Oh man, I know guys that don't make records for a living that have SSL
They just
consoles.
have it. They're like collecting, and I'm like, I just need you to adopt me and then bequeath it to me.
Let's get the paperwork going.
Yeah. If any of you guys are watching this channel, I'm your new stepchild.
I would say, I think just
daughter.
Daughter.
Fuck it, I'll be
Legal
your
dependent?
wife.
Put it
I'll
as
be
a
your
wife.
wife.
You know what?
I'll
Yeah.
be her wife.
For a 9,000
For a
9,000 J, she'll.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Vegas.
Yeah, I'll be your wife for a 9,000. Yeah, I mean, I love
And
it.
you have a.
I know, but I'm just
you have
saying the 9,000 J is cool.
Man, the 9,000J is like that thing. Yeah.
I love the J.
This is a J man over
I
here.
do mix on the
I
J.
told you we need to get the X rack.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like so. What
Next
it sounds
video.
Like.
Next video, we'll all get X racks.
Yeah.
We should
God.
start a band called X Rack.
Then we really would be like YouTube
Yeah.
people if we're like buying and acquiring things just to make YouTube.
Just to do the video, yeah.
Yeah.
This was all
Yeah.
stuff we all kind of either were able to borrow or own.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Well, is any what do we have that's borrowed? Oh,
yeah, borrowed the original.
the original.
Borrowed it from Austin Coop. Thanks, Coop.
Thank you, Coop.
Really made all this
Shout out.
a lot easier because we're like, what are we comparing them to? You know, like we were like, we're just comparing them to each other, which is obviously going to be useful. But it was like, I think it'd be really nice if we had the original thing. So.
Well, if there's like an engineer that like is familiar with it, because not every engineer is gonna or person that is like watching these videos is gonna be familiar, and that's the whole point of this channel.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
Is to give them context, but they're not gonna necessarily be familiar with the sound of an original because they're
No.
not like us where they're like have access to the gear in
Yeah.
the studios, right? Because we can't afford it.
So it's a nice
We're just
benchmark.
like, yeah.
Here's what everybody knows. Even if they haven't heard it, here's what everybody knows. They're
Yeah.
super expensive. Like if you're gonna go
God,
buy
I saw one
if you're
the other
gonna
day, it was like 25,000. I was like,
for the
yo.
Rev D, yeah, the Rev Ds are up to like 10
Oh
grand.
no, this was like an A.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
people
wait,
are
no,
asking.
Like
no,
25
no.
grand?
It was like, but it was like what was the version that they did where it's like it was not the original. It's like the revision of it.
There's
where
like
it was like a
there's like
yeah.
a really rare one.
No, not the first one.
Yeah.
It's like a different. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. I just remember seeing it and being like, wow.
But I mean, you're gonna have a hard time finding a UREI Rev F for less than $5 grand, $4,500. I mean,
I don't even know that I would find one for $4,500.
I mean that's what I'm saying. So Rev Ds are 9 grand or 10 grand now. So
Yeah.
that's you just go like, all right, so we've got something here that's more expensive than what most people are willing to pay for a mono compressor. Most people just can't afford it. I don't own one. I mean, I could have bought one, but I didn't ever. You know, it was like too much money for me to do. And I'm listening to these Audioscape ones, and I'm going like, well, they sound really, really good, and some of them I like. Some of them I prefer the sonic characteristic. I prefer it over the original for these sources that we did. So it's like I can actually get something that is as desirable as a vintage one for a fraction of the price,
Yeah.
and be sitting pretty with. I mean, it's awesome. I don't know. I was really stoked.
The thing with the Audioscape ones is because I have like I said, I have the Black Lion Bluey, and Black Lion stuff is great. The old Black Lion, not the new Black Lion, but the stereo image and the dimensionality that you're getting out of at least these 1176s. I mean, it's fantastic, and it fully beats out the Bluey. The Bluey's got the grit, but it's a lot shallower.
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
sound
have like the depth.
than the
Yeah, and
Audioscape
like
A.
you guys all own these. Like these are your units. You have the F and the 70. You know, and you have this. I don't own any of them.
Currently.
I'd only heard. I know.
As you go
So what I'm saying is that I'd
currently.
only heard them in videos, and I'd watched other videos that people had made, and comparing originals. Like there was a Rev D. There, a guy had an original Rev D compared. So I've heard some videos, and I was pretty impressed. But that being said, like when you really get your hands on it in your own space, on your own tracks, on your own monitors, and really get to like work with it, like so I was the one who had like no Audioscape, like hands-on Audioscape experience until we set this up, like until earlier
Yeah,
today.
you're a
So,
fan.
and I really like, I really like a bunch of what I heard.
Great.
Yeah, it sounds
I mean, yeah, there's a reason why I'm like such an Audioscape fan.
yeah.
I'm a fan.
And we
Yeah.
didn't set up we set up the examples just to show what they do. We didn't set up the examples to try and like, they're all level matched. They're all,
Moral of the story:
yeah, they're great.
don't buy warm.
Yeah, I mean,
Moral of the story,
Save up
don't buy warm.
$200 more and get
Hey,
Audioscape.
listen,
No, warm is
they
more
pass
expensive
sound,
than
okay?
Audioscape.
They
Really?
pass sound.
they
Yeah,
do pass
warm,
sound
dude,
when
they
they're working. They
charge.
pass sound.
Yeah, warm is more expensive than Audioscape. Shocking, I know.
I mean, I think warm. I think when you're talking about these things, maybe those aren't the best. They do make some products that are decent. Not this product. I had a warm 1176 when it came out, and it was like, I guess this is a compressor. I mean, it was like
the only
it
warm
didn't
thing
sound
I
anything
think-
like an 1176, but it was like its
Yeah.
own. I mean, it sounded like it was compressing. I mean, it
Their
was.
mics are okay, but there's better options for equal price, and
Yeah.
that's my thing.
I was
personally.
surprised with the warm audio mics. Actually,
They're okay, but like there's better options for.
there's better options, but like for the
When
price
we get an
range of those
Audioscape mic, when are they making Audioscape mics?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. There might be something in the works. Chris made some. Like he was telling me at like NAMM. Like he had made some. He had gotten the capsules from Heiser, and those are great. Fucking
Yeah, those
mics.
are great
Heiserman
capsules,
are
yeah.
Great fucking mics.
I chatted with that guy in there.
Oh, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's a guitar amp guy like me. We ended up realizing, he's like, oh, you a guitar amp guy? I go, let's talk. And then I was like, That's funny.
Yeah, he's a gig. I think he's just like, I think he makes them all himself. I don't know. I mean, this is totally like, I'm just like making it up. I have no idea whether or not he does. I think he does though, based on Facebook.
Yeah.
But anyways, he had traded capsules with Chris, and Chris has like just made a couple, but he has one in the mix, you know.
In the works.
So
Cool.
right, works. Yeah.
That would be good.
So, you know, this is the premier
Yeah, if you-
recording engineer, number one recording engineer in the world right now. So
This guy over here.
this
Apparently.
is
Recording
this
big
is
dogs.
what, you know,
Apparently.
maybe we'll have a mic that we're putting artists on soon.
Wouldn't you like a mic?
Yes.
You talk to him. You get him to make one. I don't know this guy. You say,
I
hey Chris,
love-
you make the mic.
I love mics. I mean, but there's a lot of good options for mics that are like, I think my thing is like, don't say you're something that you're not. That's the first thing, right? And that's my issue with certain gear makers. And then the other thing is, like, you know, so don't prey on the naivete and all the YouTube people that are like sponsored and preying on like the naivete of these people that are like going to these people for their opinion, right?
Yeah.
And it's an bot
They're
opinion.
getting bamboozled.
I take a big issue with that, especially since these people are not actual working engineers.
Yeah.
So I feel very bitter about it. You guys have heard me rant. But on top of that, like, if you have $1,000 to spend, and you're like, here's option A, B, and C, right? Choose. There's ones that are better options, and maybe it doesn't look the coolest with the color paint it has or whatever, but it is your best option because this is not a visual art. This is not
Yeah,
a
it's
Tory
about
art.
sound,
So it's
yeah.
about how it sounds, and
Buy the
I
best
will
thing you
just
can
say,
afford.
EQing somebody's poorly recorded warm mic is not fun.
No. Like I said, some of the
It's
stuff just sounds like broken, and then you have to use a bunch of digital tools to fix it so that you can begin mixing. And that's just like
Yeah.
so that's the thing. If
God.
somebody now I know, like, if someone tells me they've got one of these and they track vocals through it with a reasonable microphone, you're like, even SM7 or something, SM7 into one of these Audioscapes, I'll be like, I'll know what to expect, and I'll know I don't have to like worry about it. Whereas I've had people send me some home recorded vocal tracks, and then I'm like, what did you do here? And then they tell me, and I go like, mental note. Never ever buy any of that stuff.
TLM into a Focusrite.
Yeah, folks.
The
Right
TL1,
there.
okay, the
TLM 103 is
the,
great,
the
but
102
Hey.
is surprisingly.
the 103 is great. I was my
You
first.
like it?
It was my first good vocal mic. I
Okay,
love
so I don't
I
like
like
the
the TL1.
103, but the 102 is surprisingly
Mm.
good.
it. Yeah, they sound almost the same. It's a little
You
like.
think so? I think they sound totally different.
I think they
Isn't it
sound,
like a transformerless 87?
yeah,
basically?
they sound pretty. They're both transformers, but the TLM 102 is just like a little less hearty. It's like cleaner, I thought. But I thought the 103 was a little creamier, and it's just got that weird TLM 103 thing. I don't
The
own one
103
currently.
thing
It
has
was
like
just,
this mid-range upfront
Yeah.
thing for vocal, which is nice for like pop.
yeah.
I would say if you want like that upfront, maybe like Dua Lipa sound in a vocal, like
Well, it depends on
TLM
the pop
kinda
artist
has
though, because
that.
the
But they
pop
don't have the
artist
most
that we
air.
just mixed
doesn't have the most is very much in the mid
The
range.
mid-range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Very
depends on
mid-forward.
it depends on your voice, depends on the artist, because we just
Yeah.
mixed a pop artist and that was she clily used it like
It
an
definitely
800.
did source
it
the
was
Yeah,
it
and
was
if you
not
use a
very
TLM,
much.
dude, if you use it,
Yeah, it was not
if
the
you use a
right
TLM on the wrong person, that's bad. 'Cause
Well,
it's
no,
a
I
very
think she
specific
was using
mic.
an 800, and it was just because everybody wants 800, so it was not the right mic for her.
Yeah.
And she's already mid forward, and there was not enough information. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, pick the right mic.
Pick the right everything.
I think
Yeah.
the mic conversation will be a different video. but
Yeah, yeah.
To wrap up the 1176.
1176, big conclusion.
Sound
big
great.
finale.
And I wonder what everybody else is going to think. I guarantee you this: they're all so cool that I don't expect anybody to have like. It's not going to be a unanimous. We all like this. Like, there's no
Right.
way.
Well, and at this
Why
We
point,
were
can't it be a
conflicted.
poll?
We were conflicted while we
Yeah.
were making them. We were like, I don't know. I think this is the cool. And you're like, no, this thing's the best. And they're like, I like that better than the UREI. Like, we were not aligned in the room on what we all like.
we just
so
like them. So
I don't
at
expect.
the end of the day,
it's
it's
preference.
It's a preference.
Yeah.
Right? And
there
it's
was
also
not
source
one that
material.
we were like we don't like it.
Yeah, there were no
There
dogs.
wasn't one.
And it's source material because, you know, one thing is going to be correct. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason I have multiple 1176s because I don't use the same one
Yeah.
based on what I'm using it for, the genre.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool flavors, and they're all high quality sounding.
Boom.
Way to go.
All right,
Thanks,
I'll see you next time,
Audioscape.
guys.
Thumbs up.
Double thumbs up.